Uh-oh, that ain't good. So after mucking around with it a little bit, I did some research, tried to see if there was maybe a known issue with System 7.6 and expansion memory, or maybe a certain memory size. I didn't really find anything like that, but I did find the patch notes for the 7.6.1 update, and it apparently fixed a bunch of different various issues, none of which were specifically related to memory, but figured what the heck, I'll install it and see what happens. And it's been stable since I installed the update. I haven't had any memory issues, so it's possible that I had, you know, had I just installed the update to begin with, maybe I wouldn't have run into those problems. And I did let it run for a little bit, let it go to sleep, wake it up, run some apps, restart it, shut it down, turn it back on again, and nothing. So I don't know why, it was acting up the way it was, but everything is fine. It had not done anything like it did before with regards to the memory error. So let's do another restart just in case. I don't want to say, hey, there's no problems, and then, although I do notice that the startup bong is a little bit shorter than normal, but I'm pretty sure that's because the battery is not installed right now. I had it removed when I was just playing around with everything. So we'll see what happens here, and if it reboots or not. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, or if it throws an error, then maybe that expansion memory module just is faulty, whether it was always faulty or I accidentally did something to it when I disassembled it or put it back together. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So far, so good. Not hearing any baritones or anything like that. It's starting up seemingly as normal, and extension should be loading in the. Yep, there they are. So, yeah, no errors or anything. What I'm gonna do next is give it one more final cleaning, all the surfaces and everything, since the inside components are already clean. So I'll just wipe down like screen, top cover, etc. Get it cleaned up, and we'll finish this thing up. I should also note that I did try to run some diagnostics on here, and I just could not find a working image that I could burn to a CD in order to be able to run them. I found one that would boot, but it would error out. It was based off of System 9.1, I think, so I'm pretty sure that's why it didn't work, because I believe the max that this can support is System 9. I may be wrong, but I think that's what was going on. So I could not get any of those to work. I did, however, after updating to 7.6.1, getting rid of the memory error, was able to test a floppy drive out in order to actually I take that back. I took the expanded memory out, and I wasn't having any errors, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because we were getting errors at random. It seems you'd boot it up, it'd be fine, reboot, you get the error, reboot again, no error. So I created floppies for the 7.6.1 update and was able to install them, and everything was fine. And after that, I reinstalled the memory module, and again, everything seemingly seems to be working. So just wanted to add this in there because I forgot to mention it earlier. So we're gonna continue on with this whole series, obviously, and now that I've got a working PowerBook 3400C, we're going to try some things out with it. I'm going to try to make some 800K floppy disks. I'm going to try to install some software, mess around with it, see what I can do with this thing. So, with that said, let's continue on. So this right now is booting up off of battery. It's not going to be very efficient on battery power. There's not a whole lot of battery power left, and I don't know if the brightness controls are working. Oh, they are working before it fully boots, so that's good. But I don't know how much battery power we have left. Could be an hour, could be less than that. I'm not quite sure. According to this, it's an hour and 15, 11, 8. So it's probably going to die in minutes. So I'm going to plug it in just to be safe. All right, so no memory errors as you saw during boot, so good. I can't guarantee that there aren't going to be any other issues or anything. Maybe memory errors will pop up later. I hope not, but we just won't know. So if you remember the pickups video where I first debuted this, and as well as part one and part two, I received a bunch of software with this, and I figured we could start by installing, or at least checking one of the discs that it came with. It came with a lot of these Mac Addict discs. These are CDs that came with the Mac Addict magazine, which more than likely came with a bunch of shareware and things like that. Let's try Mac Addict from December of 2000. We'll see what's on this disc. Most of the software on the disc should work on this PowerBook, but there may be a few applications that won't, either because they're too new or too old for this particular model, but we'll see. So it shows up on the desktop. It doesn't show up as a CD, which is weird. I'm wondering if they had a custom icon. Ooh, wow, that's rendering very smoothly. Season's greetings and a happy real millennium love. I have no idea what that says. Nit Vozak? I don't know. Oh, nitrozac.com. Okay, never mind. Duh. So what do we have here? We've got Mac Addict Tor Fat. So fat binaries were designed to run on both 68K based Macs and PowerPC based Macs. And you've got 640 by 480 and 800 by 600. The resolution of the PowerBook is 800 by 600, so more than likely this is one we'll run. Now, I'm not going to sit here and run and install every single piece of software that I've got. Internet config to access all. That's fine. I don't need internet right now. But I'm not. Oh, that's loud. But I'm obviously not going to go through every piece of software because I'm not going to make a 10-hour video. So what we're going to do is there. So we're going to just look at a couple of things here, but what I really want to do is go through and make some floppy disks. So what do we have here? Scouter, drop drawers. Okay. We're just going to mute that. So there's only a few. So let's look at the index here. Oh, look. Mac OS 10 stuff. Not going to work on here, obviously, but so what we'll do is look at utilities. Actually, no, let's look at updates. What do we have on here for updates? I don't know if that means like Mac OS updates or if this are application updates. Oh, yeah, some random application updates. So if anyone is running Diablo 2, there's a 1.03c update available. But we're going to go ahead and look at some of the utilities in here. Aladdin Expander, so that's Stuff It, and other related compressed archives like zip and things like that. Aladdin Expander was the equivalent of WinZip, but for the Mac. So, I mean, if you had a Mac during the 90s and 2000s, you probably had the Aladdin Expander. Landon. I have no idea why I just said that. So this was Aladdin Expander 5.5. So you know what? Let's install it because we're probably going to need it at some point. So what the heck? Yeah, sure, why not? See, Mac during this time, they didn't really have a specific applications folder. You could obviously create one, install everything to it if the installer allowed you to do so. But pretty much everything was just installed, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. A list of help applications, blah, 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 blah. Yes, we want to do that. That way, anytime we just open up a .sit file or a zip file or anything like that, we can just not worry about it. So yeah, we'll quit because that's all we need. And you know what? We installed a utility. Let's look at and see what else we've got on this disk here. Fun and games. Why not? Diablo 2 cheater. So, for you Diablo 2 fans, once you install your little update, run the cheater and I'm guessing cheat at Diablo 2. What is PC Dork? Killer game allows you to virtually do what you've been longing to do forever. Shoot the PC Dork salesman. Aim and shoot. Sure, why not? This is a Mac-focused video. We can attack, PC culture. Not PC culture as in politically correct, but no, we don't want to install it there. I'm going to create a new folder. Let me just call it PC Dork. Quit. And you know what? That's enough for now. Oh, look, there's our stuff at Expander. So that got installed. Let's go ahead and eject the CD. And let's try a couple of things out. See, I don't like putting, well, whatever. Where's PC Dork? PC Dork game. Double click me, Mac idiot. Yeah, okay. Please enter the disk Mac Addict 52. I guess I don't have a choice. I'm going to zoom in on a screen for the rest of this video. Shoot the PC Dork salesman and would recommend buying a Mac. There isn't any software for it. They cost too much and they probably won't be in business for very long. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? 11 years later. Oh, wow, okay. So this is almost like a whack-a-mole. Oh, that's very violent. That's uncalled for. I'm not very good at shooting the PC Dork, apparently. But at least it's a recognizable pattern. So I'll eventually get the hang of it. Okay, so this is, yeah. That was fun. By the way, I'm trying to hit the space bar to preview the README file. They didn't introduce that yet until OS 10, maybe 10.4. I don't remember. So we'll have to double click. Click the icon with PC Dork's face on it. No warranty. Oh man, that sucks. Hope my Mac doesn't break because of that. So that was fun. Let's get on to what we really wanted to do. Let's look at, oh right, I have to eject the disk. Put my super, totally legit disk called Mac Stuff. Which I think I have a copy of Stuff at Expander on it, without realizing one of these demo discs probably came with it, just because a lot of the demos probably would have been compressed in some way, shape, or form. So let's do this. Okay, we'll see if the disk can be read by this Mac. It's a burnt CD, so I don't know if it can be read or not, which if it can't be, that's going to be a little bit of an issue for me. I may have to fire up an old PC and transfer everything via floppies. That's not good, so I'm going to have to recreate it. Maybe I'll, instead of just drag and dropping it within Finder in on my Mac OS 10 system, I'll have to use some sort of mastering software. Let me try another one of these disks that I created just in case. And okay, so let me go recreate a disk and we'll be back. Oh look, it went to sleep. Let's try now. I burnt this in ISO 9660 format, which should be a universal CD-ROM format. I believe if you just do a drag and drop in the Mac OS 10 Finder, it does it as an HFS Plus disk, which won't work on these older Macs. But at the same time, I would think that Apple would make it in such a way that it could be in multiple formats, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see if I chose the right format. If not, I may have to try just HFS, or I might have to try another format altogether. Maybe I'll try making the disk on a PC. Yeah, see, it's still not reading it, so I'm going to have to try again. Let's see if this works. And again, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to try to make it on a PC with some software or something. And this isn't reading it either. There's data on it, you can see. Yeah, it's just struggling to read it. The read LED is just flashing nonstop. So we're going to try to create a disk on a PC. So, fun fact, the previous disk I tried to burn locked up the Finder, and I had to force eject the CD-ROM drive so that I could unlock it. I also attempted to change the background to try to get rid of this moire pattern that you may see on screen here, but it made no difference because it's the camera, not the wallpaper. But to make the screen easier to see in general, I turned the lights off. Let's see if this disk will work or not. But this new one I created is readable, so go figure. PCs can burn disks that are readable by old Macs, but new Macs can't, at least not by default. So we're just going to drag this to, okay, fine, whatever. I don't care, just as long as I can copy data to the disk in general. I don't care if it's on the desktop or whatever. Although I don't like, this may be a problem with the little tilde character that you see, not because the Mac won't be able to read it, but what it means is that Windows shortened the file names from, however long they were down to the 8.3 format that DOS originally used. In the old days of DOS and Windows, file names could not be longer than 8 characters and then a dot and then a 3-character extension like .exe for executable or a .bmp for a bitmap photo. That's one of the things that Macs were definitely more advanced on, was the fact that you could have long file names. But in order to maintain compatibility with the ISO 9660 format and other formats for the CD-ROM, I guess it created a disk that was only 8.3. So I don't necessarily know if I'm going to know what these file names are until after I open them, but it should be okay. So I copied the desktop anyway. Really, like, whatever. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. This is system something. Another system something. I think this one is 7.5.5 just based on the number of disk images. This, I think, is WordPerfect. And unfortunately, this is in 7-zip format, which StuffIt will not recognize because it wasn't even created yet. It might know the WordPerfect.sit. It might be able to open up this zip file or not. Maybe StuffIt doesn't do zip files yet. It's also possible that this basic version of StuffIt does not. Oh no, it should read zip files. Let's see, expand, desktop, Mac, and yeah, so those are the actual file names. So that's definitely System 7.5.5, which I don't think it'll work on any Mac I currently own. Even this PowerBook is too new for 7.5.5. That's why it came with 7.6.1, and even then, version of 7.6.1 that it came with was a special version of it with some additional extensions in there and system enablers for it to work correctly, which is also why there's a special version of the 7.6.1 update. Starting with version 8 and higher, they were able to make universal versions of Mac OS that would work on this PowerBook as well as others. So we'll drag that there, and we'll just call this, I don't know why I have 755 on here, but whatever. Printing system, system 1, MG utilities, utilities 2, where I have, oh, winworld.txt. That's where I got these images from since Apple doesn't host them anymore. So 4 disk, I don't remember if this is system 608 or if it's system 7. I guess I could just try to mount one of these, right? So I can't read these image files even though, let's do this here. It's under utilities. Actually, I think it's under utilities that I can at least open the image up. No, it can't read these files at all, which could be problematic. Let me see if I rename it, if anything happens. Actually, let's try. Okay, so back to the drawing board, I guess. Kind of annoying, but not much I can do right now. How did I get the images on here before, though? That's the thing. I created a CD before with the 761 update images, and this Mac was able to read it without issues. So why is it all of a sudden having a problem unless the drive is acting up? I hope not, because I really don't want to have to create a new one, or buy a new one, I mean, because I don't know how common these are. But just for my own benefit, let's insert my homemade Apple 761. Yeah, see, this one is readable. And even the disk images are recognized, so. All right, well, let's keep trying. Yeah, man, it's so frustrating dealing with some of these older machines sometimes. The other odd thing is that I was able to drag and drop from the Mac into Finder some files that I can open up on an older PC. The retro PC project that I started, all those disks were made on a Mac. So I don't know why, Windows 3.1 can read these disks, but System 761 can't. So, all right, we're going to try one last thing. And after that, I don't know. I'll have to do some digging around and see who's got some solutions out there. Although I just realized that even though I plugged in the charger, it's still running off a battery, and it's been running pretty well. So, because I forgot to plug the other end of the charger into the power outlet. And yeah, it looks like this is not going to be read either. I tried burning the disk at a slower speed. Doesn't even seem like it's recognizing it, let alone even thinking it's a blank disk or unformatted volume. Time for some research. Oh, I hear it. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Let's see if it's going to be... Okay, it's got the long file name support. And there are the disk images. Whether or not they can actually be read and written by the image utility is a different story, but at least they're there. So what I had to do to get this disk to work was fire up an older Mac that had 10.4 on it, so Tiger. And apparently, newer versions of Mac no longer support the old HFS file system, which is understandable. And I knew that, but I was hoping that even by using a newer Mac, if I burned a disk, that it would burn it in ISO format. And again, it would, and it would be readable by this Mac, but not in the right format. And the reason why I got confused because I was able to create the 7.6.1 disk, which had all the floppy images on it, is because the original one was actually an ISO format, which was created, or toast format, which was created apparently on an older Mac. So So I had to dig up an old MacBook with 10.4 on it, create a disk image in HFS format, copy everything there, and then burn that to a disk. So that's what you see here. Now let's find out if I can actually do anything with this. If not, it's possible that the images that are on here just aren't in the right format for disk copy, and I will have to find alternate versions. And they're not, so I'm going to have to find alternate versions. But at the very least, I know that I should have no problem making disks now, and that's fine. So, all right, let's see if I can do anything with these files or not. Okay, interesting, but whatever. Oh, never mind, it sees them. So just to make sure that they're valid, let's open one. And there it is, System Tools. Perfect. Let's eject this. And now apparently I can make floppy disks. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to copy this to the desktop because I need to eject the CD because I'm going to need to install the floppy drive, and that'll require me to swap everything out. So let's copy that over. 6.0.8 is probably good enough. We'll eject the disk, we'll swap everything out, and we'll move on from there. Now, of course, the other thing is going to see if these floppy disks work or not. And we'll see if these cow or KO or however you pronounce them discs actually work or not. These were, if you remember, I forget which pickups video it was, but I picked these up as a new old stock, I think off of eBay. And they came with some new labels too. Let me see if I can focus that. No, it's dark in here, but that's fine. But I do have these discs. They are white in color, and they come with these little half sleeves. So let's get to it. I'll turn the lights back off again so that the screen's easier to read. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not, but you can slowly hear the drive progressively get faster, because in order for it to be able to read and write to 800K disks, it has to adjust the motor speed. That's how it was able to be done with older Macs in order to be able to take, a 1 meg disk pre-formatted and get 800 kilobytes out of it versus a PC which only had 720. Huh. They're not complete. Hopefully these disks aren't bad. That would really bum me out. Make sure everything should be good there. Let's reuse it and it'll format it and see what happens. All right, well, this one didn't give me an error, so are we good? Let me reinsert it and see how it mounts. And there it is. And it looks like because this copy was open, it automatically tried to create an image of it, so neat. So this is working. It's going to do exactly what I need it to do, and hopefully these discs will be readable by my classic Macs. And this video is long, and it's going to be edited and cut and sped up in parts so that you don't have to sit through 40 or so, 50 or so minutes of this. I will have to, plus editing and everything. But at the very least, I set out to accomplish my mission, and I now have a way to create 800K discs. So that'll be it. If you liked today's video, please give a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you want to start a discussion. If you didn't like today's video, hit the thumbs down. But I do ask that you do leave a comment, stating why, so I can try to use that to improve my future videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to. Thanks for all the recent subscribers. I realize that I'm over 40 now, or at 40 or somewhere thereabouts, depending on when this video comes out, and slowly making my way to 50. And it's exciting. I really didn't think people were going to be this interested in my stuff. So I thank you all, and as well as my existing subscribers and any potential future subscribers. So thanks all. I'll catch you later.